Thank you, everyone. What I will be doing is the kind of ways of letting go in a more secular fashion. And there is a great parallel of what we do in the letting go in the spiritual practice, meditation, formal meditation, with the letting go practice that I often lead my patients to, because they are not Buddhists, they are not meditators, but people who have chronic illnesses, and especially when they're in a critical illness in the intensive care unit, the patients, the families, they get into a lot of emotional upheaval. And the emotions get in the way of their healing process. So the secular ways of letting go is very helpful in letting go of the disempowering feelings and emotions and previous memories and thoughts. When you think about it, just we meditate only 1 hour a day, but the rest of the 14, 18 hours that we are living, and these are the times in which our eyes are open and we're dealing with real life situations, kind of knowing how to let go is very helpful. The parallel is that the principles of letting go is so important in the twin practice that we all are doing. And all the jhana states are letting go states. We let go of the unwholesome states of mind and the 5 hindrances to get to the first jhana. And then letting go of the vitaka, vichara to get to the second jhana. Even the pleasant states, we need to let go, not just the unpleasant states. To get to the third jhana, we have to let go of piti. To let go of the fourth jhana, we need to let go of the sukha. To get to the arupa jhanas, we need to let go of the equanimity in the body. Right? And then eventually to get into cessation, we need to let go of the entire vedana, the sanya, and the vijnana. All of them need to be let go to dip into the nibbanic state. So the principles are the same. And whether they're pleasant sensation, unpleasant sensation, wholesome, unwholesome states that we deal with on a daily basis, we need to learn to let go. So the things that I would do is just with my patients and with myself in a secular sense is there are several principles that we start with. The first principle is that what arises must pass. We all know that. It's a principle of anicca, the impermanence. So in the secular sense, we look at the letting go is that left alone, every phenomenon will pass, no matter how unpleasant the feelings, sensations are. So left alone, if there is mindfulness and awareness, if we just leave it alone, just observing it, it shall pass. So one principle of letting go is just to allow it to. The second principle is just what we resist persists. This has to do with the craving and aversion. And if we look at every phenomenon, whether it's thought, feelings, emotion, sensation, perception, all sankharas included. So there is a phase of the arising when it starts coming out into the awareness arising. And then there appears to be some just immediately declining, passing away. The other ones just seem to arise, seems to persist for a while, sustaining before it passes away, like a wave, arising, sustaining, passing away, arising, passing away. So sometimes it feels like forever. So part of the thing is just when it is unpleasant that arising, then we tend to try to push away. We resist it, and by pushing it away, sometimes it's unconsciously we do it because we don't really have the mindfulness to be aware of that feeling and sensation. And then as it progresses, if it sustains for a while, it feels like we're trying to push it away also when it's unpleasant. Being like, don't be there. I don't want it. So that's the aversion part. But when it's pleasant thing, when it finally goes away, we want, I want more of it, the craving part of it. So when the phenomenon arises, what we do in part of the letting go is to welcome it. Welcoming is a big part of letting go. So we welcome when it arises, and when it appears to be sustaining, we allow it to be. Allowing it to be. And then when finally the phenomenon passes away, no matter how pleasant it is, we let it go. So in a sense that as I guide you through this thing, when I mention, could you welcome it? Or could you let it be? Or could you let it go? They all look at the same thing. Different phases of the same phenomenon. Different sides of the coin, the same coin. And in particular, the third principle is that those who practice the body scanning know this, that every sense experience is accompanied by a feeling tone of a sensation in the body. To let go of particular abstract feelings or emotions, one can let go of the sensations of the body, so-called the secondary Vedana, that we can practice that. So in other words, when one is mentioned, how do you observe anger? How do you observe grief? These are abstract emotions, but every feelings, emotion, thoughts that are being experienced, that's being experienced in the moment, has a corresponding body sensation. So this is the third principle that has that. So if we can feel the predominant body sensation in the moment, we can use that as a more concrete feeling sensation to let go, as opposed to just letting go the abstract emotion and feeling. And so these also, the physical feeling leads to the release of the emotion itself. So our tool would be welcoming, embracing, allowing, letting go, and dissolving, evaporating, and we'll do that from here. There are a lot of aspects that we will not cover, but letting go itself can be a whole subject of a retreat, of a 10-day retreat in so many things. And throughout the process, I may also ask you to, at the beginning, to interact with me in answering certain things, because keeping in mind that however the mind works is just based on attention and intention, right? Where your consciousness awareness goes to, and the intention wanting to do that. So I'm going to start by just guiding through just short releases, letting go. And then we'll go into a bigger part of a more sustained release experience. One of the principles is like welcoming of what is in this moment. So if you would just, whether your eyes are open or closed, doesn't matter. What I will ask you to do is to bring up a feeling, an emotion, or something that is relatively moderately disempowering. It's easy to get the feeling that you like, but get into the feeling that is disempowering. For example, a feeling of regret, of grief, of embarrassment or shame, of frustration, or worry, something about the future. Allow yourself to bring into your current awareness some feelings or memory of such. And I'll guide you through a few techniques, simple techniques for letting go. So once you have that in your mind, what I'd ask you to do is to rate the intensity so we can be honest with ourselves whether are we letting go, the intensity should be coming down, or are we not letting go? Means maybe we're resisting something, perhaps in the subconscious level. So it's called the SUD, or subjective unit of distress. In psychology, we call it. So it's a rating between 0 to 10. 0 is a completely zero state in which one is calm, collected, equanimous, like no mind state. As opposed to 10 is the highest intensity one could imagine of a particular state, particular emotion. So once you have that, you just rate it 0 to 10, where it's at this moment. If you just feel it in an abstract feeling in your mind, it's okay. If you notice a particular strong sensation in the body in this moment, very likely that sensation in the body is associated with that particular emotion. So you can work on the abstract emotion itself, or you can work on the associated feeling in the body. So I'm going to ask you a simple question. Could you let it go? It's an invitation for you to verbally or mentally say yes. It's very important for you to bring the intention of saying yes to let go, right? So don't just blow it off. I'd like for you to just participate in just saying yes. Could you let it go? Yes. And then just because you could doesn't necessarily mean you're mentally, subconsciously, you would do it. If I ask you to go to a grocery store, I could do it, but I wouldn't do it for you. So I ask you again, would you let it go? Would you? An invitation for you to say yes. Again, just because you would do it, you may not be doing it, because I may do it next year, next lifetime. So I ask you just when. It's an invitation for you to just say now, because everything happens now. It's just to habituate your mind into getting into this letting go process. I'll ask you again in a more series of questions. Could you let it go a bit more? Yes. Would you let go a bit more? When? Now. Could you let go of that feeling or emotion even more? Yes. Would you let go even more? Yes. When? Now. Could you let go even more? Yes. Would you let go even more? Yes. When? Now. Now that your mind is somewhat habituated, know exactly what we're going into, and your subconscious mind perhaps is trained and listening to this, I'm just going to simplify it into with a could you. Just for now, could you let go of this feeling or emotion even more? Again, I ask you to respond mentally or verbally with a yes. Could you let go even more? Could you let go even more? And more. And more. Yes. And even more. Yes. And whatever remaining of that feeling or emotion, just for now, could you let go as best as you can the rest of it now? Yes. Now, I'd like for you to just rate that, the intensity of the feeling. Just by the simple act of that, most people would have decreased the intensity of the feelings and emotions significantly. That's one way of letting go, by just cognitively or through the kinesthetic body sensation to simply bring up the attention and the intention of letting go, and congruently saying yes to it. Another way of letting go would be to create some space, cognitively space, or truly in a space by leaning back a little bit from the feeling itself. So I invite you to bring up into the present moment a feeling or emotion or something that is disempowering that you would like to let go. Could be the same or could be something different from the previous one. By creating space, for example, I'm going to use an example of anger. A lot of times we use our own language to our detriment. And when I'm angry, I call myself, I am angry. You can substitute the angry with other words. Whether it's I'm grieving, I'm depressed, etc. So when it's associated with the emness, whatever phenomenon associated with the emness, it feels like very sticky to that sense of self. Like I am angry, like I am the anger itself. There's no space that if I am the anger itself, how can I let go of it? So to create space, I invite you to just substitute it. Like I feel the anger or whatever you're feeling. In other words, the I and the anger itself is separated. There's a space. I feel angry or I feel an angry feeling. So there's a little bit separation. It's easier to let go when there's separation of space. And then one can also look at it further. In fact, in this moment, I am aware. There is an awareness. There is that intermediary step. I'm aware of the feeling of anger. In this moment, I'm aware there's a feeling of anger. Then we're two ways separated, two steps separated. I'm aware of a feeling, and that feeling is anger. It's much easier for me to let go. So when I ask myself, could I let it go? Could I let go of the anger? Of course, it's only a feeling. It's not me. And it's not just me. I'm just aware of it. It's an awareness of a feeling. Of course, I can let go. It's only an awareness of a feeling. Linguistically, this is very important. And that's hence the whole field of neuro-linguistic programming come about, to just looking at the linguistic part of it and creating that space. Another way linguistically to let go is just each feeling, emotion have various intensity. If we want to let go of that anger itself, one would also, there are various intensity from rage, anger, and then being upset, frustration, and then annoyance. If I could just also substitute, okay, I'm aware of the feeling of annoyance. Huge difference. Then I can let it go easily by just asking myself, just for now, could I let go of this annoyance? Just aware of it. It's a feeling. As opposed to, I am angry. So be careful of the language that we use. It makes a difference in our way of letting go. A lot of people say, oh, this is to die for. Whoa, it's really huge. And we want to avoid such language. Nothing is worth dying for. Maybe Nibbana, but nothing else perhaps. So linguistically, that's one way of letting go as well. There are other ways of letting go, such as welcoming the two sides of it, the duality of it, getting into the non-dual state, dissolving the polarity, the yin and the yang, and then one gets into the unity of the emptiness itself, and then diving into it. So I would invite you again to perhaps bring up another feelings or emotion. You can look at the intensity, whether it's the same feeling, emotion, or a different one, to just see, okay, how about diving into it, into the core of it? So feelings, emotions are typically very bland. In a sense, we call it empty. It's just because there is no particular color, shape, etc. But in our minds, oftentimes they do have color and shape. They do have texture, etc. So whatever feeling that emotion, wherever you're feeling it in your body, whether you're feeling it in your body, the strong predominant sensation you're feeling in this moment, or you don't feel it whatsoever in the body, just all in your mind. I should just rate it again from 0 to 10. What's this intensity, the SUD of this experience? Then I'm going to ask you to just imagine diving into the core of this feeling, the emotion. As though you're in a Star Trek, you're going into warp speed right into the middle of this empty space. What you find is just, it's all empty, much to do about nothing. The core of the feeling, if you just keep diving into the core of it, just imagine diving into the core, to the center of this feeling emotion. It's empty, without any particular characteristics. The emptiness of it. And then one can feel, reassess once you dive. Dive until you feel you really are at the center of this feeling or emotion. In most cases, one will feel that it's nothing. It's just emptiness. One can let go something that has no core in it. It's just a bunch of shell. There is nothing to it. Certainly, in this moment, I can let it go. Again, attention and intention. Just let go. Then when you do this process, you can look at it again, your intensity from 0 to 10. So these are various ways one can do that. So the one that I will be using in a moment is the welcoming process. The other thing you can look at it is as though you are the host in an open house. You're welcoming every guest that would come in. You're not entertaining them. Just any guest, whether they're the guest called grief, the guest called fear, or the guest called joy, or the guest called loving kindness. Any guest that come, you just welcome them as they come in. However long they stay, you allow them to stay. And when the time for the guests to leave, you let them go. You just there observing all your guests. You honor each guest, no matter what their label is, no matter what they look like, no matter what their colors are, red, anger, or cool, calm as a cucumber. Welcome them in. Let them be for as long as they want. And then let them go as they leave. No matter how pleasant of a guest, you let them go. No matter how unpleasant the guest, you let them go. Eventually, the law of nature is anicca, that everything that comes into your house will go. That your house is your mind, your awareness. Welcome them and let them go. Welcome, let be, and let go. So whichever term that works for you, you can substitute it as I lead you through a release. So you can allow yourself to keep your eyes open or closed. However works for you, it's okay. So allow yourself to be just for now. Just be. There's nothing to do in this moment. Allow yourself to simply be and be and be. In this plane, we're called human being, not human doing. We're so used to be doing. Just for now, allow yourself to just be. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to become, just be. Just let the mind and body settle. Allow the weight of the body to sink into the earth, and all tension dissolve to the earth, and allow Mother Earth to embrace us, to take away all our tension. Allow Mother Earth to take up the slack. We're born of the earth, this body, sustained by the earth, and eventually return to the earth. And allow Mother Earth to just embrace. Allow the weight to sink in. Allow all the tension in the body to relax. Let a flow of relaxation, a wave of relaxation to flow through from the top of the head down to the bottom of the feet, and to sink into the earth, to the cushion, indirectly to the ground and to the earth. Breathing in, smile, allow the entire body to smile, and breathing out, relax. Breathing in, the entire body smile, and breathing out, relax. Deeply relax. Now imagine in most of our lives, we're walking around. Imagine in the entire body, we're walking around with carrying two heavy luggages, one on each hand, one in each arm. And we're wearing heavy coats, layers of heavy coats, and thick hats on top of the head. We're burdened by all the things that we're carrying in our lives. No wonder we're all stressed out. Part of letting go is letting go of all this paraphernalia that we don't really need. So imagine yourself just walking, lugging along with this, and now you just stop, be, and let go of the left luggage, putting it down on the ground. The left luggage is your past. The baggage of your past. Could you let go of your past just for now? Feel the relaxation of your left hand and arm. And then lean over and put your right side luggage on the ground itself. The luggage of the future. All the worry about the future. Just feel how relaxed, comfortable your arms are in this moment, having let go of the past luggage and the future luggage, the baggage of our past and the future. And then I invite you to let go of your coats, the identities. I'm wearing this coat, the dresses that identify us as a particular identity. Could you just let go? All the coats, see how much lighter your body is. All your identities. I am a father, mother, whatever, a worker, an employee, an entrepreneur. And then, could you, just for now, let go of all your hats? The hats are the roles and the responsibilities that we wear, the hats that we wear. I'm now head of this, that. So just for now, during this meditation, could you just let go? The baggage of the past, the baggage of the future, the identities of the coats that we wear, and all the roles and responsibilities for now. To simply be our naked self. Naked like a newborn babe, like a newborn baby. free, clear, just pure awareness. To simply be. No past, no future, no identities, no sense of self, no roles or responsibilities, to simply be in this, the naked awareness of this moment, to simply be and be and be. But despite all the conditionings that we have experienced throughout our lives, we can still find, with the attention and intention of the present moment, to simply be in this moment, to let go of what we need to let go of, and notice the stillness that is here and now in this moment. We don't need to create it. We cannot create stillness. Anything that we try to create stillness create more noises. The stillness is already here in the background of all noises. All we need to just, in the state of being, be in this moment, to simply notice that stillness that's already here and now. When you simply be, that field of stillness, that background stillness that underlies all activities. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensation arise and pass, arise from and pass into the stillness. Of being here and now. Now from that stillness, we can get deeper and deeper into the conditioned state of our mind and body. The body is the portal to the unconscious. Oftentimes we glide above our subconscious, unconscious conditioning, the garbage that run our life. We oftentimes are not aware of these, yet most things in our lives are run through our subconscious conditioning. These are the things that the sankharas that we've developed over lifetimes and throughout our life, this lifetime. They run through things. Sometimes we drive home without even realizing, how did I drive home? Those conditionings, the potentials, the volitions, the sankharas that are running, all these things, we're not aware of. All the resistance to things, etc., that make the emotion keep recurring, coming back over and over. It's just, we're gliding above this garbage that's underneath. The more we experience this stillness, the state of being, the more we dive into the deeper and deeper layer, the more we can experience the garbage coming out. It's like an abscess with the skin. We have to open it up, do an operation, open it up. The pus needs to come out before healing can happen. If we just glide above the pus will continue to be there. We need to open up that infection, the abscess, open it up, allow the pus to come out, that healing can happen. So the more we dive into the stillness in the state of being, the more we're able to open up the deep, deep conditioning to come up. Once they come up, then we can let go. If we're not even aware or mindful of these states, these defilements, the kilesas, we cannot let them go. So now I invite you, experiencing the state of stillness and being, invite you to bring up, if there's any recurring feelings, emotions, something that is bothering and seems to be coming back over and over, which means subconsciously you've been resisting. If you don't resist it, they just arise and pass. This thing like a Pavlovian conditioning. The dog rings a bell, now the bell itself causing salivation even without the food. So these are the things that once you keep ringing the bell, if there's no more food, the dog will stop salivating. So we are the dog in this. And the ringing of the bell, we keep resisting it, we keep reacting to it, and it keeps strengthening that. So now I invite you to bring up this thing into your awareness, into your mindfulness. Whether it's associated with fear, with apathy, with grief, with embarrassment, with shame, with regret, with anger, with frustration, with pride, with lust, or even the more uplifting feeling of courage, acceptance, anything that comes up, anything recurring that, especially in particular, if we want to let go of this thing. Allow yourself to bring it up. And as you bring it up, just rate the intensity in this moment. In other words, the old memories, old things that come up in this moment, allow yourself to rate it from 0 to 10. Where you're at in this moment. And then I'll guide you through a series of letting go. A very, very subtle sense of resistance that we're often not aware of. So in this moment, could you welcome whatever you're feeling, the things that were brought up into your awareness? Could you welcome that feeling, emotion, memory as best as you can? Again, an invitation for you to say internally, yes. After you've done it for a while, you do not need to say yes anymore. There's a knowingness that there's a yes in it. But for now, allow yourself to just say yes to my prompt, to my questions. Could you welcome the memory associated with this particular phenomenon, whatever that is? Anger, fear, other things. Could you welcome the memory? Oftentimes involve predominantly the sound and the picture, the videos, the sound, the picture. Could you welcome them as best as you can? As best as you can, just for now in this moment. Could you welcome the memories, the picture, the sound associated with this phenomenon, this feeling, with this emotion? Could you welcome it as best as you can? Could you welcome it even more? And more. And even more. Again, every time I ask you an invitation for you to say yes. Attention and intention. Yes. Could you welcome that memory even more? And more. And even more. It's welcoming whatever that memory is without resisting it, without trying to push it away, without trying to hold on to it. And there's usually predominant emotion also associated with it. Almost every phenomenon has the emotional charge of a component of fear and anger, various permutations of these two. Now, just for now, if there's any aspect of this phenomenon, emotion that has anger part of it, could you, as best as you can, welcome this anger? The awareness of the feeling of anger. Could you welcome that anger as best as you can? Whatever layer, whatever permutation there is, if there is any aspect of anger, just for now, could you welcome it even more? As best as you can, even more. Could you welcome it without resisting? Just welcome it even more and more and more and even more. Sometimes it also helps to relax. Just relaxing exhalation allows you to even enhance the letting go feeling in the body. The out breath, the relaxation, like in the 6R, the release and the relax. And if there's any aspect of that that has fear, could you let it go? Could you welcome it? Could you let it be as best as you can, just for now? So if there is any aspect of this phenomenon, feelings, emotion, memory, whatever you're working on here, if there's any aspect of fear in it, just for now, as best as you can, could you welcome it? Could you welcome it even more? Could you welcome it even more? Could you welcome it even more? Just for now, and more, and more, and even more. And then let's look at the judgment. Could you welcome all judgments, opinions, criticism, anything that you have opinion on about this phenomenon, this emotion or feeling or memory that you're working on, that's recurring feeling? Any judgment you have, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this, or I shouldn't have, I'm a meditator, I shouldn't be doing this, I should have, could have, must have, any of those things. Could you welcome all of them? The entire thing, all of them. Could you welcome them in this moment as best as you can? These are subtle resistances. When you bring opinion, judgment, criticism, all these things of ourselves or others, they are forms of opinion. They're not complete acceptance of what is. Could you welcome any judgment, any criticism, any opinion that you have, that you've developed over time, whether you're aware or unaware of, attention, intention, any judgment, any opinion? Could you welcome all of them as best as you can in this moment, just for now? Could you welcome more and more? Could you welcome them even more and more and even more and even more? Again, an invitation for you to say yes for every question that I ask. And then let's look at if there is a sense of wanting to do anything about it, wanting to make it go away, wanting to change it, wanting to make it better, wanting to figure it out, wanting to know why this happened, wanting anything, any wanting to do anything about it is a form of resistance. If we truly, completely accept that there's not going to be any wanting to do anything about it, we're not trying to resist it anymore. We often resist layers and layers of this thing. We're angry and then we think, I shouldn't be angry. So now I'm angry at the feeling of anger itself. Now I'm feeling that, oh, I shouldn't be doing it. Now I'm judging the anger. So now I'm feeling anxious. Now I keep angry. So we're developing layers and layers and layers of this thing. So wanting to do anything at all about this thing is a resistance. Could you welcome, just for now, as best as you can, welcome any and all of wanting to do anything about it? Could you welcome even more? Could you welcome even more? Just for now. No matter how difficult it is. Sometimes it's a very traumatic memory, feeling, whatever. Feeling like, I want to do something about it. I have to do something. Sure. Just welcome that. Don't resist that. Just welcome wanting to do anything. We're not trying to resist, trying to push away anything. Just welcome that wanting. Any wanting, you embrace it just for now. Even if you feel I can't do it now, just for now. You can take it back later. Because all there is just in this moment, just now. Just for now, as best as you can. Would you welcome any wanting to do anything about it? Wanting to change it, wanting to make it better, wanting to make it go away, wanting more, wanting anything. Welcome more and more and even more. And now, if there's any sense this is all personal about you, or this is my feeling, this is my emotion, this happens. The truth is we have no control over this thing. Something that belongs to us, we usually have control over it. We feel so much sense it's personal about us. This is me, mine, myself. Whatever that sense of thing, so personal, it's just yours, happens to you, belong to you, all of that. Could you welcome it as best as you can? Again, without resisting it, to just this form of having this so personal about is a form of resistance. If it's so personal about you, you feel like you can't let it go, no matter how much you want to let it go. So welcome this feeling that this is so personal, this is all about you, that the world revolves around you, that this is all about you and you and you, me and me and me. Could you welcome that sense? This is all so personal. This is all about you, all about me. Could you welcome that just for now, as best as you can? The sense of being personal, as best as you can. Could you welcome more and more and more and even more? And even more. Just for now, that sense of self, that's all about me, that this is all about me. Could you welcome that as best as you can, without resisting it, to simply welcome as an uninterested host in your guest house, in your open house. And let's go next to the stories. We make up stories about this feeling, emotion, about the memory, things that are recurring happen in ourselves. We tell people about these stories. Some people develop identities about feeling by telling the stories, all about stories. And the story creates the feeling, emotion further, and become a vicious cycle. And every time we bring up a story, we bring up the feeling. Every story metaphor involves the feelings, the emotions. We strengthen this emotion, and then the story becomes more and more complex. We spin the story to make it so sympathetic about us, about things. The story has a protagonist, the antagonist, all the dramas, all the tragedy associated with the story, the chapter, the sub-chapter, the heroes, the villain. There's a villain and there's a hero in every single one. There's a victim in every single one of these things. The stories that we create about our feelings, our emotions. Could you welcome the entire story? Just for now, the entire story that we've created over and over and over about this thing. Could you welcome it as best as you can? All the entire story, the chapter, the sub-chapter, the prequel, the sequel, everything, the entire story that we've built up. Just welcome all. Breathe. Exhale. Relax. Welcome the entire story that we've built up. about this particular event or this feeling or this emotion. Could you welcome that story even more and more and more and even more? The entire story. All the spins that were created in that story. And let's look at some of the needs that we fulfill with this story. If there is any sense that this particular phenomenon, this particular emotion, feeling that we're working on, this recurrent feeling, if there's any of that fulfilling a sense of wanting approval, wanting love, wanting affection, wanting closeness, a major want of our lives, the fact that they're recurring things, they must be fulfilling something in there. Could you welcome any sense of wanting love and approval in this moment associated with that, whether you're aware or not? If there's any wanting love, affection, approval, could you welcome that as best as you can? Could you welcome that wanting love and approval even more? Even more, and more, and even more, even more. And then if there's any sense of wanting control, feeling that you're out of control with this event, you cannot control this thing, wanting to control this, it's a major one. Wanting is lacking. The more you want it, the more you emphasize subconsciously, I'm lacking this thing. So could you welcome that wanting control associated with this thing? Any wanting to be in control, any lacking control, any wanting to be more in control of this thing, could you welcome that just for now, as best as you can? Just for now, as best you can, could you welcome that sense of wanting to be in control, wanting to be more in control, wanting control? Could you welcome even more and more and more and even more? And then could you welcome any sense of wanting to be safe and secure? We all want to be protected, want to feel safe and secure in our lives. If this emotion, feeling, phenomenon, in memory, etc., trigger any part of it, of wanting to be safe and secure, could you welcome that wanting? Could you welcome that feeling of lacking safety and security, wanting to be safe, secure, protected? Could you welcome that as best as you can? Just for now, could you welcome it as best as you can? More and more, even. And even more. And if it triggers any sense of separation, wanting to be one with something, the feeling that you're being separated, wanting to belong, lacking of the oneness with something, or on the opposite side of it, feeling too close, I want to be separated out, away from that, the two sides of the same coin. Could you welcome any sense of wanting oneness or separateness together? Wanting togetherness or wanting to be away from something? Could you welcome that as best as you can? More and more, and even more. And whatever left over in this feeling, emotion phenomenon that we're working on. So, could you welcome whatever is left over in this moment of that phenomenon, feelings, emotion, or memory? Could you welcome as best as you can, whatever remaining of it? Could you welcome even more and more and even more? And just for now, could you just let go? Just let go. And let go as best as you can. And could you let go even more and more and more and more and even more? You welcome and let go. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, allow whatever remaining to just dissolve, evaporate, and dissolve completely as best as you can. Now go back to that memory again, dissolve. Just check your intensity. Where are you at? Most people have significantly decreased the intensity level. Some people have about the same. Some people actually experience more intense feeling emotion. The reason people feel the latter is that because a lot of chronic recurring feelings, emotions, have multiple layers to it. It's like a tissue box. As you remove the more superficial layer, the deeper layers start coming up. So as we let go of this as best as we can, it's just for you to go back and to simply be in this moment. Take one deeper breath again. As you breathe in, allow your entire body to smile. And as you let go, just breathe out and let go. And relax the body. And knowing all is well. And just be in this moment. Again, notice the stillness that is already right here, right now, at the background. No matter what is going on, the open sky that is unaffected by all the clouds, by all the thunderstorms, and all the hurricanes. If we stick ourselves inside those, we feel all of them, the ups and downs. Now after we release them, we welcome them, we let them go. Now just lean back a little bit. Get ourselves out of the clouds and remind ourselves of the open, spacious awareness of the sky and the stillness that's always in the background, and bring them to the foreground. That all the things, the passing, the arising, the passing, you just leave them at the background. Allow the stillness and an open awareness sky to just be there. Knowing that whatever things that we just went through is just a passing fancy, passing cloud, the passing hurricanes, no matter how much of a thunderstorm and hurricanes in our lives. In the end, there's that bodhicitta in there. The nature of us, the nature of the Buddhahood is always there. The stillness, the open awareness, the spaciousness. The Buddha nature has always been there. Allow it to come to the prominence, to the surface, to the foreground, and allow it to simply be in this moment, right here, right now, to simply be And whenever you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and carry this stillness, this open, spacious awareness with us wherever we go, and knowing that we can let go of these, but at the same time, not forgetting that whatever we let go are just a passing fancy. And that deep behind in the background that we can always bring to the foreground is that sense of stillness, awareness of being that's always there, unchanging. The unconditioned is there, just to be realized here and now. Thank you all for taking the journey with me.
Thank you so much, Irawan. That's a really powerful way of letting go.